Welcome to another Money Wednesday with Powerful Women Today. December truly feels like every day needs to be a money day, but we are so excited to have Rosanna Lamana with us as our mentor expert, bringing us all the wisdom and business insight from really the elite of the accounting practices. So, welcome, Rosanna.
Thank you, Carolina. Great to be back. And yeah, I can't believe we're already into December.
I
Where has
know
the
we
year
were just
gone?
speaking about that in the green room and in saying how it kind of is just flying by. There's only like 2 weeks left, and we still have to think about business and boy, we do need this year to end.
Yeah,
This is going to be the year end of all the year ends.
yeah, I'm right. I hear you.
So thank you so much for bringing today's topic, and I know a lot of us are a little bit of checking out and starting to think of the holidays and trying to I don't even know what business people are trying to do. But the best way to start to plan forward is really to bring about 2020 to a close and make sure that all of your business strategy, all of your business protocol is done right, which is what you're here to talk to us today. And we are you're taking, I love it, a lot of fun because accounting can be viewed as a little bit of a dry topic, especially it's often done like delegation by abdication when it comes to a lot of business owners, but it can be a lot of fun. And that's one of the things that I really admire about doing business with you and your being our financial advisor is that our accounting and file advisor is that you always make it a human experience, right? Opposite to just the numbers. So you're going to walk us through these and yes, frame it a little bit so that everyone knows that it is it is a serious topic and that we're just giving it a little bit of fun, but these are some of the areas that you're hoping to cover today. So it's
Yeah.
all yours. I am surrendering the mic to you, and I am here to enjoy this special episode.
Well, thank you. We thought we'd have some fun in light of the upcoming holidays. And so we thought we'd put a little spin on sort of the accounting and tax world and other business insights and sort of tying them back to some of the holiday movie classics, which kind of see are running rampant on TV these days, or Netflix, or whatever you're watching or streaming out there these days. But, one of the, I guess, movies that I know my favorites and that I like to watch kind of on a basis is the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and sort of one of the takeaways from that movie has really been where boss puts profits before people,
Mm,
decides to eliminate some of the holiday bonuses that many of the employees were actually counting on. So, as business owner, it's not always all about money, but it does help, and I get it. But this year in particular, with COVID, many employers are faced with tough decisions around holiday bonuses and gift giving, and especially those that maybe are been experiencing declining profits. But we tend to think of bonuses just as cash payments. There's other ways to also thank and reward your employees, and it could be by way of gifts. So, as employers, if you're looking to give gifts to your employees, know that maybe gifts instead of cash bonuses might help both yourself from the employee perspective and as well your employee in terms of benefiting from the Canadian income taxes, where employees can actually use the total cost of that gift as a tax deduction for themselves, and employees don't actually have to declare that gift as a taxable benefit. So yeah, so there's some, obviously I'm going to say some good news to gift giving. I know there are some specific rules that CRA has put out there around that. So, it really is gifts up to $500 that are non-taxable, and the gifts need to be for specific purposes and religious holidays, which is what's coming
right.
up in terms of, if you celebrate Hanukkah or Christmas, whatever it is that you celebrate, if you're giving a gift for a religious holiday purpose, up to $500, it is not a taxable benefit to your employees, and you do get the full deduction as a business owner. So it's something to maybe think about if you've been contemplating whether you would be giving gifts or not this year to your employees.
I did not know that it was a $500 limit. That is pretty high, considering you don't have to declare it as a taxable benefit. Genius.
Yeah, yeah. So there's rules around. If you give gift cards, though, because some people might be thinking about that, that does not qualify. So that would actually be a taxable benefit. Because
So
gift cards can be easily converted to cash, so not allowed.
I see. So it has to be a gift that is not easily convertible to cash.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Or stock options or anything of that sort. That doesn't qualify either. So there's some specific rules around it, but nonetheless, there is an option there. So if you're uncertain, just feel free to reach out anytime, and we're happy to help.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And especially now with people working remotely, and you're right, even the social get-togethers, right? Like the Christmas parties or Christmas lunches or potlucks or all the things that occur in offices and in groups that work together. This year, we are going to have to be creative, and leadership really need to stand up. And same with human resources, right? Really go the distance, making sure that everyone is accounted for, and that you do a check-in with everyone, making sure that they're feeling okay, given everything that's going on, because the holidays are bound to be a difficult time for many people. So absolutely, I love it. It is really not all about money. After you build a team and after you're working together, is your second family. You spend more time at work or more time communicating with the people you work with than with anyone else. So very good point. Thank you so much. Genius. Let's move on to the next one.
So just when I think about some of the employees and working with employees overall, treating your employees well isn't just the right thing to do. It just obviously makes business sense. And so, if I were to compare that to a holiday classic, I would probably compare it to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And so he's really a businessman who was confronted with some consequences of his, I'm going to say, greed when he was running his business. And he tended to overwork some of his devoted employees and, didn't really even want to give them Christmas Day off. So, when you think about that and you kind of compare it to businesses these days and some of the research out there, that really points to the fact that happy employees are more productive. They're far less likely to seek, employment elsewhere. There's lots to kind of take away from that. Like I know I had recently read an article that was published by Forbes, and it had said that highly engaged teams show 21% greater profitability. So,
Oh, wow.
That's a big number. 21% greater profitability just because your employees are happy. Well, really? Is it that simple? Like, how do we keep them happy, right? But I find that a lot of the more successful organizations make employee engagement central to their business strategy. They give some really clear expectations to their employees. They provide them with the tools and support that they need to do their best work. And that in turn kind of helps with the profitability component, because people are coming to work with passion, with purpose, they're engaged, they're energized. And as a result, there's less people who less turnover, less people leaving because they're happy.
Absolutely.
Less absenteeism.
Engagement has a lot to do with culture, the culture of your organization. That when we speak about diversity and inclusion, right? That inclusion where people feel that they belong. And the thing is that, having a background in human resources as well, I can tell you that culture eats policy for lunch. Right. In making sure that you have a culture of inclusivity, a culture where people feel seen and heard and included, and in a meaningful way, not in a kind of hit the box kind of way.
Right.
Is authenticity, right? Authentic leadership means the world when people are genuinely asked to contribute, not just their job description, right? But to bring about their thoughts and their personality and their problem, their solution, the way that they solve problems, right? Because that is one of the most important things that you can try to grow an organization with, is in finding innovative ways to be better at it, right? And innovation comes about finding a better way to address challenges or to do it faster, better, more profitable. Well, that only comes from feedback in research and lab, and being allowed, having a culture that is inclusive of crazy ideas, right? Because you never know what crazy idea is going to be the genius idea that really takes you to the next level. And I love that. I love the dimension of culture directly linked to profitability. Is
Mhm.
very, very smart.
Yeah. I think the other thing too, just sort of one of the things you had said is about sort of research, listening, and feedback. What I find too is there's a lot of business owners that offer some really great health and benefit programs for their employees.
Mhm.
And, in their mind, they think they're great. They're spending a lot of money on them. So, of course, their employees must appreciate it. But, sometimes we just need to take a step back and maybe it's survey your employees, find out what matters most to them. Maybe you can make some small changes in your health and benefit plans or wellness plans to help better support them, and maybe spend the same money or even less, depending on what the program is involved. But I just wanted to kind of hit on that point about listening to employees, because you can make some small changes and perhaps save money along the way as well.
Yeah, and also the demographic, especially for long-term firms, right? And long-term employees, the needs of those employees change.
That's
So the
right.
benefits that you may be offering, if you have a whole bunch of young people with young children, orthodontics is a great thing. If all your employees are empty nesters, or it's a little bit more of a mature workforce, having benefits that is more for younger families, right? It doesn't fit the need of your current workforce. That is very smart. And because employer, offering benefits, I don't think employees often realize how expensive it is, right? How because it's also a fixed expense. So when you have years like this year, right, where your revenue, you're lucky if you just maintain, or if you're within that 20% cushion. But offering benefits and offering fixed stipends for maybe continuing education, or anything that you're trying to do to really better the experience, your employees experience, some of those are fixed expenses, and this time has been extremely hard on employers.
Yeah,
So, absolutely giving feedback on how it can be better is a great way to contribute and to be engaged, right? Is
exactly.
is that's an excellent point. Thank you. Then we have
Yeah. Different is good. Yeah, actually, that's one of my other favorite movies. The movie Elf, Buddy the Elf. I don't know if you remember Will Ferrell in that movie, but
I don't think I've ever seen
basically,
it.
oh no, it's Buddy the Elf. I love that movie. Buddy's actually very different from all the other elves at North Pole, but he's very enthusiastic and full of Christmas spirit. And so, really, it's what makes him different is actually what makes him great. And so, when I think about that and I think of business owners, I think now, especially with COVID, being different is important to your customers. You don't need to try and be like everyone else. You probably have a unique value proposition, which is what or the reason why maybe people want to do business with you. And so, as many business owners are contemplating what the future looks like and what that means for them, it's probably a good time to reflect, like, what is your value proposition? What is your business differentiator? How are you attracting and retaining talent within your organization, or attracting new customers or clients? Or what have you done to potentially pivot to help you sort of deal with some of the issues that are going on in the world? So, those are some things that is probably now, as we're sort of nearing the end of the year, is just a good reflection point to kind of think about your business and what the future looks like.
And don't be shy to actually remind your customers and your employees in the world at large what is your differentiator, how you solve problems differently. Like, we have to be reminded, it's everybody's so busy, and we get with so many things that we often forget. It's like, oh, I'm paying this much, a month, or I'm buying this product, whatever, or I'm choosing this vendor, or I'm doing business with this person. And after a while, it's like, it's good to have a little reminder, right?
Mhm.
And just remember, why is it that our joint collaboration works, and why is it. Just now we were reflecting on that just before we came on the air, right? We were just taking that moment saying, it's been great doing business with each other because, and it was such a great exchange, and it just kind of validates you that, yeah, I'm on the right track. So it's important that we have those connections and those conversations, for sure. And and that different is good. I'm thank God that we're in the era of diversity and innovation, and everything is couture. So that is absolutely amazing.
That's
Thank you
true.
so much. But there's, in addition to that, in addition to those points, we do want to just remind everyone of the actual, year-end protocols that now more than ever, I think, are extremely important.
Absolutely. It's probably a good little reminder to think about, I'm going to say, your general housekeeping items that maybe get pushed to the back burner until December 31 rolls around and you start thinking about it. But, as you're sort of preparing for your year end and maybe meeting your accountant again to go over the year, it's always good to pull some of the reports and just see where things are at. I know sometimes you just leave it to someone else to do, and I get it, and accountants will deal with it. But as a business owner, I think it's very prudent for you to kind of get involved, understand what your balance sheet, income statement, cash flow look like, pull your accounts receivable listing and see, is there any amounts there that perhaps have not been collected from some of your customers? And if not, maybe it's a good time to just follow up, touch base. And you never know, you might actually get paid just by picking up the phone, because people just forget, people get busy. And so that's going to help you from a cash flow situation perspective. Also, there's a lot of changes to government relief programs that have come about lately. And so, it's probably a good time to just revisit those and see, maybe you weren't eligible in the past, you might be now. I know FedDev's come out with some new funding, or they've had some funding, but there's been some, modifications to it over the last few months in terms of who applies and who doesn't, and whether you've got other sources of government relief programs and what you qualify and what doesn't. There's just so much information out there. It's hard to navigate it all, but do take some time to either go through it yourself or talk to your advisor, and they can definitely help you sort of navigate that world. And then I also wanted to share a little bit about some of the, I guess, the new items that have come out of the new economic statement that was recently released. I know in our last episode we were talking a little bit about home office expenses, and there still wasn't really a decision that had been made. But since then, the new fall economic statement had been put out, and so business owners now can, or employees can now claim up to $400 for home office expenses without having to track detailed receipts and not having to have their employer. Yeah, their employer doesn't have to sign a declaration form, and it's all based on employees who have had to work from home because of the pandemic. So it's based on your time at home. So there is kind of that $400, I'm going to say, no questions asked piece. So if you wanted to learn more about that, I think it's important to get up to speed on that and know that that might be a deduction available to employees. And I guess the benefit to the business owners is you may not have all the paperwork that you need to file that goes with that. That being said, if you have other expenses that you need to incur for work, those are all, you still need to file the paperwork. This is just sort of a pandemic relief one from an administrative support perspective.
And one of the things regarding the government programs that I have noticed is that there's been a lot of changes. Like at the beginning, there was not as much scrutiny for when people were applying and they were qualifying, where I have noticed now that on a good note, there's more programs, and it's been expanded, and it's become a bit more sophisticated. But on the other hand, they are also being, I guess the government, because they're the ones putting all these programs together, they have had the opportunity to finesse the process. So, people that may have qualified before, if they were to try to do it now, they may not qualify now. Or you may need to have your taxes up to date. That's a big one. Make sure that you have your taxes up to date, as close to, 2019 as, get 2019 done at least, because now they're prerequisite to apply for either extensions or expansions. Even the original one, the CRB, got expanded an additional $20,000 for entrepreneurs. So now it's a total $60,000, for which you only need to repay $40,000. but there are now more steps to go through in order to qualify. So
Mhm.
absolutely, and these are all the tips that when you work with an accountant and a financial, I don't want to say financial advisor, because that sounds like somebody's doing investments, but it's really more of a business advisor. When you work with them year round, these are all the updates that you get regularly. And I get emails from you all the time saying, hey, this program came up, you may qualify, right? And it's always with that, you may qualify. It's not a given thing, but it's great to have people whose life is this, right? Who are fully immersed in the latest and greatest of changes to business rules and tax rules and all these things to be on your side.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, and it's nice to be able to just sort of keep on top of things or to lend a helping hand to others. And I say that even from business owner to business owner, if of a particular program that you might have benefited from, share that with your counterparts, and it does really well to just sort of support each other. And it's all about, I'm going to say, supporting small businesses in particular now. They're going through a rough point. So anything we can do to help and pass along information or share information, I think goes a long way these days. And it's in the spirit of giving if we're thinking about the holidays.
Absolutely. And we're so thrilled. Speaking of the holidays and all of us coming together, we are so thrilled to announce that we are having our end of year, which normally has been something we've done internally, but now we've opened it to the world at large because that's just the kind of year it has been. We're having our global gratitude circle. It is on December the 15th, next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, and work your way back on the time zones is, I believe, 12 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock Pacific. And to find the chapters, the Power of Women Today chapter nearest you, you can visit meetup.com/pro/powerful women today, and you get all the coordinates and the link on Zoom. And we have some incredible recognition awards that are going to take place, as well as just being grateful and finding a way to bless and release this year and get ready mentally back to that internal economy, get ready for recovery, and get ready to bring about, to pivot, to do what you need to do to bring yourself back to growth and profitability, because it can be done. You just need to be in the right mindset, surrounded by the right people, right advisory, and do the work. And there's people right now growing their businesses,
Mhm.
and that can be all of us, right? It can be done. So if you need to get a hold of Rosanna, she is one of our mentor experts of Powerful Women Today. But here is your Rosanna's information. And are there any parting tips that you would like to share with us, and how does getting a hold of your work as well,
Yeah.
because you're part of a big accounting firm?
Uh, yes. So, no, feel free to reach out to me personally. I mean, my contact information is there as well. Also on LinkedIn, feel free to connect with me that way as well. I'm happy
Mhm.
to connect from that perspective. So, yeah, anytime I'm here to help.
Wonderful. So thank you, everyone. We have a very special Friday, this coming Friday. We have the launch of our Podcasters Mastermind with PWT Broadcasting. There's such a desperate need. Every single research shows that there's such a desperate need for women content. The reason there's not more women listening to podcasts is because there's not enough shows. There's not enough material prepared by women for women. So we are inviting any and all podcasters, present, future, anybody who's interested in doing exactly what Rosanna and I are doing, in just really communicating one-on-one with a following, with your desired clientele, and just sharing your solution and your knowledge. So you don't have to be a business owner. You can be a professional who's a thought leader, just like Rosanna. And so we definitely invite everyone. There'll be information if you check out our LinkedIn, if you check out our website, powerfulwomentoday.com. And again, our meetups, you will get information on how to join us this Friday. And we have an amazing program for 2021. Is I feel almost a little guilty how excited I am for the coming year, but we can do this together. And that is I think what Rosanna and I really believe, and in making sure that no woman's left behind. So thank you, everyone, and we will see you on Friday. Take care.